Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 7th edition of Best as a Podcast I have consistently done for almost 2 months now. I'm recording this episode and next episode back to back for the most part, one on one day, one the next. Anyway, I brought another guest this week. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, hello everybody. My name is Moral Truth, and I also host my own podcast called Moral's Podcast, an open platform to share what's on your mind. I also occasionally I also stream on Mixer. I stream a variety of games, preferably like indie slash like anything I feel like playing for the most part.
A good variety. It's always good to have that variety.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I was telling you before the podcast that I had a public service announcement. I seen this on Reddit, and I feel like although it's a couple decades too late, it's still important to know. In 1989, Mario was just a plumber. In 1990, he started a medical practice. That is a problem. A minimum of 7 years is required to become an independently practicing doctor. If you or a loved one were treated by Dr. Mario, you may be entitled to compensation. All prescriptions and doctor's notes he has written are fraudulent and he must be stopped. What are your thoughts on this?
I was kind of thinking maybe the education system was different in 1989 or however or something.
Nowadays, it takes 7 years. Before then, it only took one.
Yeah, but I props to him
Or
for that grind.
100%. And maybe Mario was just a multitasker. Maybe in 1983, he was working on becoming a medical person. Instead, he took a life of plumbing for a while and saved some princess and fought off some shell guy. Maybe
Probably
that's
was
why
living
he
a
does
double
it.
life or something. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a double life. So, the big topic that I've been wanting to talk about for over a week now, YouTubers, the group we've both been in for over 2 years, 2.5 years at this point, right?
Yeah.
I think it's been 2.5 years now, if you include the subreddit. But when it comes to the new thing going on, we have Fetch Quest, which is their way. They formed this partnership with Quest, and they decided, okay, we want to help YouTube creators, especially ones that don't have the means of getting ad revenue and all that yet, the ability to attempt to make something through people, but not directly make something through people. It's more of a you do quests, as they call them. There's multiple options, whether it be for YouTube, Twitch, Patreon, etc., etc. And then if you do this quest, like, oh, you sign up for Hulu under this, then your creator of choice can benefit from that or what so have you. That's a very brief description of it. So, just beginning on that, how do you feel about Fetch Quest as a concept?
I mean, it kind of looks nice on paper that YouTube creators and streamers on Twitch they have an opportunity to have viewers support them through like doing these viewer quests and then having these like something called sub points, which they can use for a free Twitch sub or if you're um, I guess a YouTube partner or something that does like a there's like a thing like join membership or something like that. It's like kind of like a like a paid subscription or something like that. And
Yeah.
and then they also have a thing where you could give money to that person's Patreon, and then in return you get that refund back on their PayPal or something like that. That kind of sounds a little complicated, but I guess that's how it works. Like on the Patreon side, until they have a better option. I mean, like a better method to do it. I mean, that's how they're doing it for now in terms of Patreon. Um,
Yeah, when it when it comes to Fetch Quest as it is right now, it's not a finalized thing. They're still working on improving it, working on making it even better than it already is. But I feel like conceptually, I think it's a really good thing for both Fetch and the Quest people to work together to try and give people an alternative to try and get something. And it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm doing content just to make money. If you want to last on YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, etc., you need to want to do this. You need to enjoy doing it. Otherwise, I don't personally feel you're going to last too long. And Fetch Quest, to me, represents, okay, you may still be a small creator, but we're enabling you to, if you have the audience even a little bit, they can indirectly give you something for what you do instead of, oh, maybe I don't have $5 directly to give to somebody, but I can download this app and play this app for a while, and the creator can benefit from that.
Yeah, that's like one of the ways viewers could support their creators. They download a game on their computer or on their phone, they play it, and they get the rewards, and then you can use them to claim a Twitch subscription or donate to the Patreon, etc. I feel like it's a good way for smaller creators, such as ourselves, to, I guess, to be able to like earn a little bit of money, not a whole lot, but like a little bit. You know, because then again, you gotta have that passion, rather than just like, oh, I'm doing this for the money. Like, you gotta have like a purpose, like where you want to create on YouTube or Twitch or Mixer or etc. Because, like you said, like if money is like your main drive for content creation, yeah, you should just stop. That's just my
100%.
opinion. That's just my opinion.
And when it comes to creators and having that drive, I feel like we've known each other for 2 years, and I know when it comes to a lot of young creators, it's like, oh, if I don't get this huge view increase, I don't see this huge sub increase, I don't see these huge gains immediately, I'm going to quit in like 2 months. That's not you at all. And I feel
Yeah,
like that's something I really like about you when it comes to, okay, no matter what, you're going to keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep pushing forward, and one day it'll pay off.
right. Like, I know it's been like months. Like, I've been pretty much stuck on the same number, but I'm still creating. Because it's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy getting different guests coming on my podcast, even though if it's like once every other week or something like that, or I'm slowly trying to go through it to every week, or like to the best of my ability, because I'm on winter break at the time of this recording. But yeah, you gotta have that passion there. Like, if you make content that you enjoy, then yeah, you'll be around for like quite a while. Like in a couple, like, sorry, not couple months. Like, it'll be like 4 months from now. It'll be 4 years on YouTube, for me.
Man, 4 whole years. Congratulations, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I've went through like all different sorts of content. Like, I started out with gaming, and then then I did vlogs. I did like travel vlogs. I did like ASMR, and then now I'm just focusing mainly on my podcast only. That's all I'm doing for now until I think of anything else that I want to do on my channel.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to me as a creator, I feel like one of the strongest things, like, I've been on the Whistleocracy brand for over 2.5 years now. We'll just say May of 2016. We'll go with that. That's may or may not be fully accurate, but that's close enough. And I went from Let's Plays to this, to that, to this, to that. And I feel like that experience of trying things, learning how to do these things, and whether or not you do it to perfection or not, there are still things you can learn from Let's Playing, from doing this series, that series, and you can kind of put together your experience when you want to do something new. And like for me and you, we both have a podcast. We have done, I've only 7 episodes in now with this episode, but you've been going for
Yeah, almost
a
2
long
years.
time with
Yeah,
yours. Yeah.
yeah, since January of 26. No wait, 2017. Yeah, January 2017. That's when I started.
Yeah. And it's like the experience we get over time, like most people they think on the outside when they're not a creator, like, oh, this person has like 5 videos and they're not super good, but as you're a creator, you're learning how to do things, you're adapting to what you know are your flaws going in, and you just continue to improve and improve them. And even with this podcast right here, there are multiple flaws with this podcast, including issues that are purely on me when it comes to, oh, I may not have done the timeline for last week's episode because it was a bit more chaotic than normal, which, that's my fault. I didn't do the timeline last week. I should have done the timeline last week. I will do it eventually, but it was something I should have done then. But I kind of just wanted to get it out and be done for the weekend with all that fun. And I feel like that's one of the most difficult part of a podcast is you want to have a guest, you want to make sure you have the right guest for the right episode at times, especially like when it comes to Fetch Quest. Us both being around for 2 years, I feel like it's very beneficial for us to have this conversation rather than
Right.
someone that's been with YouTubers for like 2 months. Like, we have more experience, we both know both of the directors on a much better level than most people do. So it's just pretty... Podcasting is an interesting thing for me. For me, what I really love about it is, one, I've always enjoyed listening to podcasts, and I feel like I am a good enough talker and bringer of topics to make it work, but I really enjoy bringing in new guests. I enjoy the new interactions with people that I haven't had before, and even then, like, eventually I want to bring back guests. And, like, with Fetch Quest, like, okay, maybe I start doing Fetch Quest and I get what? Let's just say, like, $2 a month, because someone is downloaded a game app or whatever, and they're trying to help out a little bit. That can add up and enable me to put the podcast elsewhere. That's a good example of where funds could go. Like, okay, I start making money, I'm able to purchase like a Pippa.io thing and make an account there so I can spread the podcast to various platforms and the podcast can grow better because it'll be on multiple platforms in multiple areas. So it'll get a small amount of views, but eventually it'll add up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's always good to have your podcast there in various platforms. I remember earlier you were talking about having like a timeline for your podcast. That's something that I used to do, but I don't do it anymore because usually the discussions that go on in my podcast is usually like you said, it could be a bit chaotic. It could be like all over the place, back and forth. And I decided to just leave it like that, because I feel like it's better to just let the podcast flow. Like, don't have it like, you can have it structured, but not like to the extent that, oh, it needs, you have to talk about this thing like within this time frame and this in that time frame. At least have some structure, but let the podcast discussion like flow like freely.
Absolutely. The biggest thing with the podcast is it doesn't need to sound like you're two robots just talking about, oh, we have topic A, let's talk about topic A. Oh, let's immediately go to topic B and topic C and topic D, and not really have a genuine conversation for however long we go for. It's important to have an actual conversation with actual emotions and just talk about things.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So when it comes to Fetch Quest, I feel like personally, conceptually, I think it's a great idea. And when it comes to every creator that may be listening to this right now, I feel like you should try it. And I think the biggest thing that I would like to make people aware of is you don't want to shove it down your audience's throat. Once you have it, you can talk about it a couple times, and then After that, just you can make brief mentions. You can bring it. You can have like an annotation like thing inside the video. That way, people remember to go to it. It can be in the description, whatever. But if you decide to do fetch quest in an attempt to make that extra money through the alternative means, you don't want to shove it down people's throats. You're not gonna get a long way with that.
Yeah, I agree with you definitely. Like you gotta have it there like as an option, but don't be like every video, like every like I guess like in the beginning of the video or like in the beginning of the stream or like every too often like oh go to fetch quest, go fetch quest, you know. Like just have it there as an option. Like if viewers they wanna choose, you know, to support you by playing the apps or going through the viewer quest, on their own free will, not because they feel forced to.
Exactly, and it's just I see people doing it a bit with Patreon. Like they make a Patreon and suddenly they're all pushy about it on whether it be on Twitter, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be a combination of multiple social media platforms. And if you follow them on all of it, you just begin to feel this not so much that you don't want to support them, but this feeling of you wish that they would not push it so much. I feel like once you push it so hard, it just kind of makes you look not the best.
Yeah, because it just makes it seem like you're more like money hungry. Like, oh, you're just doing it for the money. But yeah, like for
You,
me, like I mean, like I have a Patreon, but I don't use it. I just have it just to reserve the name, like for the future if I do wanna like use it. But I'm not. I don't use it currently.
yeah, I don't have a Patreon. I honestly didn't have a bank account until like 2 days ago. So, me,
Congrats.
yeah, I mean that was a thing. And I thought that was a big improvement, but that doesn't mean like, oh, now I have a bank account. Let me make a PayPal. Let me put my bank account on there, and let's get me a Patreon. Let's get me all of this and pay me all the monies. Yeah, I don't plan on doing that anytime soon.
Yeah,
Fetch
yeah.
Quest. I'm highly considering Fetch Quest. I think Fetch Quest is a pretty good idea. I really like the concept. I don't think there's anything wrong with the concepts at all. And an alternative means to monetize in your content, especially when you're so early on. If your audience is willing to support you in that, even if it's a very little amount, it could be worth it. But do you have anything else to add to the Fetch Quest topic, or would you like to move on?
I'm kind of like a little skeptical about a fetch quest. I mean, I get like all the benefits from it, but and I just feel a bit unsure about using it because for someone like me that that's a small creator that now makes YouTube videos but doesn't stream on Twitch, but so I mean, but then I see like people could like go on your fetch quest and then they could get the sub points, but they could do it, they could use it on somebody else, like they don't have to use it on mine. I mean, I could see it like as that another method to support somebody else if you're using the sub points on your fetch quest.
So, your skepticism is that you're unsure because of the way it currently works, and that you're just not sure how well it would go over in general.
Right. I just feel like I should probably go to like the fetch quest Discord server and ask more, see if they can address more of my concerns about that.
Yeah, and I mean that's another big point with fetch quests. Like when it comes to the people that are trying to help push that along and make it an option for creators, they're willing to answer these questions if you just
Right.
go
Because I
through
was
them with the
there like
proper
just the other
means.
day, because I had like issues like trying to log in and whatnot. Because they try to help me out with that.
100%, it can be very helpful. They have a very talented bunch to help people out. All right, guys. So after multiple technical difficulties that I'm still not sure what the actual issue is, because I'm not sure whose side it actually was on. I think it's resolved right now. I hope it's resolved right now. I hope there's no more issues, because oh my lord. But obviously we had the fetch quest talk. We attempted to talk about Fortnite and the dances, but I feel like we've gotten all the signs that we should not talk about Fortnite and the dances, so I can accept that. Fortnite gods, I understand you don't want us to talk about this on the podcast, apparently.
I'll accept that as well.
So, I feel like we'll move on to a Missouri poacher involved in the illegal killing of several hundred deer over 3 years, taking their heads and leaving their bodies to rot, must watch the Disney classic Bambi once a month while he remains behind bars. After pleading guilty, Barry Jr. was sentenced to 1 year in jail in Lawrence County on December 6, according to a news release. The 29-year-old was also sentenced to 120 days in jail in a nearby county for a felony firearms probation violation. As part of his sentence, Barry Jr. is to view the Walt Disney movie Bambi, with the first viewing being on or before December 23rd, and at least one such viewing each month thereafter while he remains in jail. How do you feel about this punishment? Does the punishment fit the crime?
Wait, you kind of lost me there. What crime did this guy commit again?
He was a poacher involved in the illegal killing of several hundred deer.
Ouch.
And so now he must watch the Disney classic Bambi once a month while he's behind bars on that, and apparently a felony firearms probation, which may or may not be the same thing. I don't know.
But why the Bambi movie out of all things though?
I honestly can't say I have too much experience with the Bambi movie. I assume it has to do with showcasing why the animals shouldn't be killed. But at the same time, in my head, I think of it like, okay, so this person's in jail, and you're gonna let them watch a, let's say, hour and a half, 2 hour movie every month? What if they just decide, you know what, you're right, I need to learn my lesson, I want to watch this movie once a week. And they just get like a 2 hour away from everyone else vacation in the jail.
Yeah, it's like TLDR, animals can talk.
Yeah, animals can talk now. Oh, yay.
Yeah, then you're gonna get out of jail, you're gonna try to talk to animals, next thing you know, you're in rehab.
Man, I definitely don't think the dude should have killed several hundred deer. I'm just not sure if the judge... I want to know what went through this judge's head when he made the decision on having to watch Bambi once a month.
I just feel like the judge is possibly a dank memer or something. But
a dank memer. That would be fantastic.
I know, but golly. I don't know that guy should do instead of poaching deer. He should just fix himself some salad, you know. It's all about that vegan life, though.
Yeah, he should go down the vegan road. How do you feel your journey as a vegan has been going for you? Are you still enjoying it, or you still feel like it's completely the direction you want to go heading into 2019?
I mean, it's been a year since I became a vegan, and like at first, I had to like do my research and see like all these different things I can or can't eat. And then at first, like I thought, like people would think that, oh, vegetarian and vegan are the same thing, but they're actually different things. Because I know vegetarians, they just don't eat meat, but then they could consume milk, or they could consume like basically dairy or like eggs or honey. And vegans, they can't consume anything that comes from animals. So like little by little, I was trying to figure out like, oh, what stuff can I eat as a vegan? And then like once I found like these alternatives to like foods I usually eat, it just got easier from there. I'm actually enjoying eating vegan food. And then
Yeah, 100%. And when it comes to your decision to go down the vegan road, I don't feel like. I know I've personally seen people give you a hard time about it, but from my perspective,
Right.
like,
Yeah. The people think
every.
like people think that I'm that vegan that tries to force other people to be vegan, but I'm not that guy.
Yeah, I've
Hey,
known
people
you
people can
for.
do whatever they want. They can have their own diet. If you want to eat meat, you want to be vegetarian, pescatarian, you want to do the keto diet. You know, that's entirely up to you. Like I have my own lifestyle. You have your own lifestyle. You know, so yeah.
E- Exactly. The important thing for me when it comes to everyone having their lifestyle is as long as you are eating healthy and you're not being like, okay, I am doing this strict diet, but I'm not eating enough, or I'm not getting this kind of thing that the body needs. As long as you can do the diet and still maintain a healthy enough lifestyle, you don't have to be in perfect health. I'm not in perfect health. I drink Dr. Pepper all the time, but when it comes
Oh,
to you just gotta keep it healthy, and as long as you're not feeling or experiencing any big difficulties, I think people should be able to do whatever they want.
right, right, definitely, definitely.
So, are you a big Christmas person?
Like in a religious sense, or like just in general.
Just in the holiday itself?
I mean, I like the spirit of giving and whatnot. Like people giving each other gifts. I like that. It's a time for families and friends. To like to spend time with each other. I feel like it's more like a family thing of sense of Christmas, of the sense of camaraderie. Rather than just like the materialistic aspect. Like, oh, I have to give someone a materialistic thing, rather than just, oh yeah, yeah, I'm having a good Christmas because I'm spending time with my family and the people I love. You know, I'm just, I just feel like sometimes Christmas, might be a materialistic thing for certain people, but that's their perspective on it.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to Christmas for me, I enjoy holidays, but at the same time, I don't enjoy so much the family gathering holidays. Like, I think it's okay to have a get together and all that, but I feel like if the only time a family is really gonna see each other is during a holiday because there's a meal involved and there's a gift involved or whatever, whether it be Thanksgiving or Christmas, there has to be something in it for everyone to show up.
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like that's kinda what's the point at that point.
Yeah, then another thing, like for me, I don't work on Christmas, and then I'm winter break from university, so it's pretty much I won't be doing anything for Christmas. But like Thanksgiving is like another story. Like I feel like Thanksgiving, I don't know. I personally don't celebrate Thanksgiving because the whole thing was like with the pilgrims, like killing the indigenous people and et cetera, et cetera. Um,
Yep.
yeah, I don't celebrate it that.
I feel like one of the aspects of Christmas I do like is I don't appreciate having to do any of it, and I don't appreciate it so much in the household I live in.
Right.
But I do really enjoy seeing the Christmas decorations.
Yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. And I usually get questions from people say, "Oh, how do you celebrate? What are you gonna eat for Thanksgiving as a vegan?" I mean, I'll just eat the usual stuff I eat as a vegan because I'm not gonna eat like a vegan turkey loaf or whatever or something like that. Because I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving, to be honest. I don't really celebrate Halloween either, to be honest. I'm not much of a holiday guy, other than it's just a regular day for me, to be honest.
Yeah, for the most part, I feel the same way about most holidays. They're just a day that a lot of people consider special. But what I'm gonna be doing
Hmm.
on this day compared to another day, it's not too much different. And when it comes to like Christmas, it's like, oh, there's gonna be this big meal. I'll enjoy the meal, but that's about the biggest thing. I'm not really gonna enjoy So the family gets-togethers where people act like, oh, we like each other, but we haven't talked for like the majority of the year. But hey, you know,
Yeah.
we're here now.
And then we have like New Year's. They're like, oh, it's a new year. We have to set New Year's resolutions that eventually people fall back on after like a month or so. Let's be honest here.
I've never done a New Year's resolution, but I have some in mind for 2019. I just wanna, just for the lull, I want to see how that goes and see if I can actually complete
Right.
them or
Yeah.
not.
If you're gonna set a New Year's resolution, make it something that's like more realistic. Because if you do try to do something that's like nearly impossible, chances are, I don't know, you might fall back on it. You might you might not stop doing it. Like, for example, if you're like, oh hey, I'm gonna try to get 8 hours of sleep every night, and then boom, school's back, and you start procrastinating, and then you start getting less hours of sleep, and then you just kind of get used to that, and like, oh no, I didn't follow my New Year's resolution. I didn't practice my time management and whatnot.
Man, when it comes to fixing a sleep schedule and having a consistent sleep schedule, you get this many hours of sleep. That has to be one of the most difficult self-controlling tasks people have to deal with. Because it's like, okay, if it was your choice, you'd stay up until a certain amount of time. And for me, it's like, I eventually, like, once I start to feel tired, I'm ready to go to sleep. But if you didn't get that tired sensation, how long would you stay awake if it was your own personal choice, and how long would you want to sleep? Especially if you couldn't feel. And it's just like, okay, for this reason, you have people that just like, okay, well, my sleeping schedule's kind of in a whack. I'm waking up at like 7 p.m. I'm staying up a long time, all this fun jazz. And it's just like, okay, even with the tired sensation and all that, you get the sleep, you're just not getting them at the right time. So now you have to figure out how to fix your sleep schedule. And the more messed up it gets, the harder it is to fix.
Yeah, then you could get to a point when you sleep during the day, and you wake up during the night, and you just stay up all night, and you sleep during the morning or during the day.
That's kind of the situation I'm at. For the podcast listeners, before the podcast, I had my time zones mixed up. What did I do? I think I've subtracted 2 instead of adding 2 or
Yeah.
something like that, and that caused
Yeah.
confusion on my end. And so I was ready at a earlier time, and then I was told, "Oh, no, you got the wrong time, man." And it's like, "Oh, okay." So my plan was, okay, I'm gonna take a nap before the podcast. Then I'm gonna be more
Yeah. That I'm like,
well
wait a second.
refreshed.
I'm like, wait a second. We're doing this podcast earlier. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, wait a second.
You
I'm not
know,
on you.
every podcast guest has had a different time zone, and I always use a time zone converter. It's just this one time because I feel confident because it's in the US. I know the time zone, so I can do it in my head. No, I can't. I'm apparently not intellectual enough at this point in life to be able to determine Pacific Standard Time, the Central Standard Time, in an effective manner.
Right. I'm used to that now. Like, I know, cause I'm Pacific, so like I know like 2 hours ahead of me would be Central, 3 hours ahead of me would be Eastern. So because I had like other guests before that were Central and Eastern time zones. I had like somebody from all the way in Australia. You probably know who it is. Wes is somebody else from YouTubers, but I had to
And that's
like
like a 16
right.
hour difference. You have
Yeah,
to
something like that.
completely change your schedule.
I had to like record my podcast at like 11 p.m. or like 12 a.m. my time or something like that. Just to record with that person from Australia. I might as well.
Yeah,
I might
100%.
as well just say who it was. Jumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jumbo and some other guy from Australia as well, Mixstar. But yeah, I've seen Jumbo around. He's still making content. Mixstar, not really much, I think.
Yeah, I honestly can't say I've watched much of either of their content. I see Jumble's thumbnails, and I think his thumbnails are pretty good, but I haven't really. I I have all the time in the world, but at the same time, I'm always watching something already, and I have a over 10,000 video playlist of things to watch.
Right.
So it's hard for me to add things to it, and I end up dropping things before I add things, and it's a mess. It's a big mess. One day it'll be fixed. One day I'll be all caught up on stuff, and it won't be an issue. But like with Raimondo on episode 5 of the podcast, he lives in India, so that was a completely different time zone, and we worked around another time zone to make it work.
Wow,
And
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it definitely can cause a scheduling issue, because for me, like, I try not to be like, okay, hey, person that wants to be on the podcast, I only want to do it between this hour and this hour. I know my time is flexible. I don't work. I don't have any scheduling commitment throughout the week besides watching wrestling on Mondays and Tuesdays. And I generally plan it around the day that I know I have free time, and I'll be like, okay, what time works for you on this day or this day? And then I work around it like that, and then I try and just work it around that. And if I need to adjust my sleep schedule a bit to accommodate it, I'll adjust my sleep schedule a little bit. And then I'm in this mess right now of, oh, I'm taking a nap every afternoon, and even when I wake up and I'm awake for a few hours, I go back to sleep, and it's like I'm not sleeping for 8 hours, so it's just kind of, I'm splitting my sleep schedule at this point to just
Right.
2
I get what
long
you
naps.
mean. Yeah. I have also had a guest that came on my podcast that was also from India. Turns out that was actually the episode that got like the most views, like on compared to all my other podcast episodes. But yeah, like, I know that feel for sure.
You know, I actually have a question I didn't think about until now to ask you in the middle of this podcast, I guess. When it comes to a podcast guest, have you noticed a view and watch time difference dependent on the guest?
Not really. I think episodes that I've done a bit better are those I think that had more guests on. I don't know. I'm probably tripping out on my analytics, but yeah, I don't know what's going on. I just know like that one video from the guest I had from India, Sri Nation. That's the one I got the most views on compared to like other ones. Like they get almost maybe up around like 20 to 30 views. Watch time. I think all my watch times on my previous podcast episodes, at least maybe the recent 5 or so, probably at least around 100 minutes watch time at least. I don't know.
Yep.
I haven't checked lately.
I'm a big person that likes looking at data. Like, I have multiple categories of data, and I stack rank things, and I'm not sure if it's the healthy thing, but it's, for me, I'm not looking at it like, oh man, this episode didn't do as good as I like super early on. Because a podcast, especially, it's a long-term game, ideally. It's not we're like 5 days into this episode being released, and it's only done this much. I guess we'll consider this a failure. I don't look at it that way. I think of, okay, I know a lot of my subs. I won't say who they are, because I don't want to add any pressure to them. But I know there are multiple people that watch that are like, okay, I'm still on episode 2, or episode 3, or episode 4. And, it can be challenging, especially when each episode is pretty much nailing an hour and sometimes longer, because apparently I'm good for talking with people for over an hour. Apparently this is a skill set I've acquired, even though I am definitely an introvert in every sense of the manner.
That's impressive.
It's definitely interesting. And like tonight, like the biggest thing here was when we had the technical difficulties, and that kind of weighed the momentum down a little bit for me, and it's just like I'm still, for the record, I'm not sure what the technical difficulty was because we're not having it anymore. Maybe it was the Blue Yeti on your end and something with that connection.
I don't know,
That's
maybe.
the only thing I can think
using,
of.
I'm using like my data on my phone, like talking like right now. So I don't know. Maybe something was up with my Wi-Fi connection, or I don't know what's going on. But
Maybe.
yeah, like you said, like you like looking at like the numbers, like analyzing stuff about with your podcast episodes. Me personally, I don't focus like too much on it because I don't want it to be like kind of like obsessed with the numbers because like at this point like I'm neither growing or not growing or whatever, you know. I'm still on the same number of subs, so I'm neither gaining or losing subs, so you know I think I'm at a point where I could just make content like without worrying about, I guess, any changes, I guess, with I guess my viewership or subscriptions or whatnot.
Yep. And especially like for me, we're 7 episodes into the podcast now, and it's I haven't really gone down the route of DMing people and being like, "Hey, you want to be on the podcast?" So much as it's been people showing interest, or I've done the collab on the YouTuber server to bring in people. And
Yeah,
early
that's pretty
on,
much how I
you
started
had
too.
questionable Ollie, you had Ramondo, you have Anime Occult, and they're all in the same friend group. So that was an unintentional thing to have so many people in the same small little group, I guess, that were
Right.
already friends and I think that kind of helped me get early momentum going from 45 subs to 54. And I think now that I'm not bringing in that friend group all the time, because it wasn't an intentional thing, and it's not an intentional thing I plan on being like, oh, this friend group works, I should just keep bringing on these specific people. I want to bring in a diverse, wide variety of content creators and just guests in general. That way, good talk, see how each person goes. It's a learning experience. I feel like the more people you talk to, the more people you engage with, the more kinds of personalities you engage with, you grow as a person and you grow socially.
Right, definitely. And that's kind of how I started my podcast as well. I was getting guests coming in from the YouTubers community. Like very first episode, I started with Panzu Tank, which I had him again, like um like in an episode I did like I guess a month or so ago, like a few months back. And then the second episode I had Sir Jeffers, and then I had him again like on a episode I did a few months back as well. And from there, I kind of try to expand on maybe finding other podcast hosts that want to come on my podcast. And I think I had not a whole lot. I think I had like a little bit of people that came on that also host a podcast. So it was nice to expand my horizons and get guests from like different platforms on the internet.
And especially, like, okay, obviously, there's a lot of American content creators, but, like, for me, when it comes to, like, the viewership I get, I think for the last 28 days, only 5% has been from the United States. So it's a majority elsewhere, and I think that's very interesting. I think it's a pretty good short-term thing. I don't think that'll be the case long-term. I think the more you grow, the more the natural American audience will kick in. I think that's just kind of how it is for most people, unless you're specifically like from the United Kingdom or for wherever, and that community gathers to you more because it's more relatable. But it's an interesting time right now. It's definitely a case of how is this going to go in a month or two? How is 2019 going to be? Will it be more growth or will I stop seeing a growth? And like right now, I've lost 2 subs in the last few days, and for me, it doesn't even phase me a bit.
Was
Like,
that like
okay,
after the purge of like, or was
yeah,
that?
this was after the purge. I lost 0 subs from the purge. I lost
Yeah,
2
me
subs
too.
after the purge. And for most content creators, especially when you're first starting out, you take that loss of a sub and it's just a withdrawal from the emotional bank account, and it's like, I understand that, and it definitely has affected me like that in the past, but when it comes to now, it's just, if someone unsubscribes from your channel, they're either not enjoying the content you're doing right now, or they've just moved on, you know? It could be for a wide variety of reasons. Maybe they just tuned in for one guest and they hoped you were just going to keep bringing that guest on, I guess. That could always be an option. Or maybe you said something and they seen that and they're just like, this person may not be the person I want to actually follow. It could be a wide variety of things that I just don't feel like you're not losing the valuable viewers unless you're doing something intentionally controversial that's going to lose people. I've not done anything intentionally controversial in any way. So for me to lose subs, it's just people that aren't going to follow the journey long term, and I'm okay with that. I mean, if you just tune in for an episode or two and decide it's not your thing, it's not progressing in the way you'd like to see, I'm not going to force you to stay. You're free to go, and maybe you show up down the road if the podcast gets better for you, or maybe you enjoyed when I did the karaoke videos, or the Let's Plays, or the game reviews, or insert. Man, the karaoke videos are fun. I really enjoy the karaoke. The only
Yeah,
thing there
those are
is,
kind of fun. Yeah, even though you don't have like that singing talent, it's still like entertaining to listen to. Yeah.
sometimes
Mhm.
hearing random people sing poorly is more entertaining than hearing people sing professionally.
But yeah, like I've been at like 264 subs for like several months with hardly any changes, and I'm fine with that. No, for now. No. Yes,
And I mean,
I kind of like I kind of like force people to watch my content. Like if they don't like it, like you said, that's fine. They go watch somebody else. Like you just make content you enjoy, and it's a plus if it's something that other people enjoy as well.
And I feel like, especially for us, when it comes to how our channels will grow if we just stick to our podcasts, is you need your guests to share it out. You need them to hopefully be interested in what you did. They need to have enjoyed their time here, and hopefully they share it out with the people that watch them. Maybe they tell their friends, and that viewership and those people that come to that episode and hopefully like it, hopefully engage further. They check out previous episodes and see how they enjoy it.
Right, right. It even helps like if you have a playlist, as well for your podcast, because once you're done with the first episode, you go to the next one and so forth. In the order.
Yeah, that's one thing. I was lazy about a timeline, but I was not lazy about the playlist. I update the playlist every Monday. Every single Monday. So, moving on, where all have you worked? I feel like I remember most of the places you've talked about working in the past 2 years, but where all have you worked?
I mean, like I'm still in the same dollar store. I'm for like the past 4 years. I'm still
Uh-huh.
working in the same dollar store. So
So, there was a story today that happened in Alberta, Canada, and I thought it was just fascinating. On December 6th, this is kind of an old story, I guess, since it happened 2 weeks ago, but on December 6th, 17-year-old Jackson posted a video titled, "How I Quit My Job Today." The teen quit his job at the Walmart Supercenter in Alberta, Canada by reading a prepared speech into a store-wide intercom system. I feel like before I go into what he actually said, when it comes to a way to quit your job, I feel like that has to be top tier way to quit your job.
yeah, we're like just doing it for the vine.
Cause especially if it's like, okay, you've worked at this job for a while and you're just like, you know what, I've had it. And you go to the intercom system and you just let it out. You let everyone that's at the Walmart or wherever you're working hear it. I feel like that just has to be the most entertaining, and it just lets you get it out.
I think another funny way to quit a job was like Tyler the Creator. Like he was quitting Starbucks, so he just ate as many cream cheese danishes as he can because he knew he was getting fired.
You might as well enjoy your last day.
Right? Yeah, because he talked about it like on some show. I forgot what it was.
So, this guy from Canada, he said, "Attention all shoppers, associates, and management. I would like to say to you, all of you today, that nobody should work here ever. Our managers will make promises and never keep them." He noted that he had been working for Walmart for over a year and a half and calls out his assistant manager for insulting him. "Management will preach to us about how they care about their employees, but about a month ago, my boss, assistant manager Cora, called me a waste of time and management did nothing." The teen also claims that Walmart managers attempted to cut costs by reducing full-time associates to part-time workers, something that the behemoth retailer has been accused of in the past. He said he is sick of all the bullshit, bogus write-ups, and my job. He concluded, "Fuck management, fuck this job, and fuck Walmart." That is quite the blaze of glory to leave your job at.
But yeah, when he tries to get another job, he can't go to Walmart for a reference.
You definitely not getting that reference. My big question is, how incompetent is the people that worked at that Walmart to not have stopped him? Because this doesn't sound like a quick 15-second, "Hey people, what's up shoppers? This job sucks, management sucks, fuck this place, I'm out." It was like, to me it read like, oh, this could have taken like 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes. Was nobody really close enough to the intercom system to avoid an incident like this?
Wow, I mean, like the guy was pretty serious about like everything wrong with that Walmart, and then like the reason why he quit. I mean, I guess he's spot on.
And apparently, the crowd that was at the Walmart cheered at this. Apparently, they either agree or they were okay with him letting his frustrations out and quitting. Which I guess that's something. I mean, at least the people that were shopping didn't disapprove of what he was saying. I'm just not sure if you really want to shop at a Walmart after that, especially that Walmart after that. It just boils down to, is the Walmart 100% in the fault? He was only 17. He said he was working there for like 2 years. So, I mean, at the same time, can we be 100% confident that it was purely management's fault?
I mean, if you like clearly told like the managers like what was going on, and if they're not doing anything, then they're kind of like in the wrong for that. I mean, the guy could have taken it to like human resources, or could have taken it to like the district manager or something like that. If he had to go to that extent.
100% you could have done other tactics to attempted to fix the issue, but it seemed his mind was made up, and it seems like that was the end of his story at Walmart. I don't think he'll ever work at a Walmart ever again.
I mean, he could sue too, but that's kind of like too far, maybe.
Especially considering he's only 17 right now.
Right.
So, we both know about Telltale's demise and how unfortunate all of that was. But former lead writer at Telltale, Mary Kinney, joins Insomniac Games. I feel like when it comes to a Telltale writer going elsewhere, I feel like Insomniac has done multiple games I have enjoyed. So I feel like hopefully that is a good place for her. What I really want from the Telltale writers when they go elsewhere, I want them to try and to just help the dialogue of other games like they did with Telltale. Like, the decision-making process wasn't perfect, but I feel like if you just watch the game, just in general, or you just play it and you just consider it like an interactive movie, I feel like it's really enjoyable. It's an enjoyable experience.
I mean, yeah, with Telltale games, like it's good, to have like a story. It's good to have like besides the story, having the voice actors and having people writing the story and making sure it's like it connects to like whatever decision like the player makes. Like I've only played like a similar game, like a Telltale related game, but not made by Telltale, called Life is Strange. That's pretty much the only one I've
Yep.
played. Yeah.
That's the only game in my head right now that is really close to the Telltale model, and I really like that kind of game. I hope it doesn't die with Telltale's demise. I like a variety in games. It doesn't have to be my favorite thing in the world all the time, but I enjoy having the option to go to.
Right, definitely. I mean, like for me, I enjoyed Life is Strange for sure. I enjoyed it, the storyline. I can
100%.
understand. Yeah, I can understand why people didn't like the ending because it felt like they had to go through a certain ending. But yeah, I haven't tried out the other Life is Strange ones like Life is Strange 2 or the Before the Storm. Yeah, I haven't looked into those.
I've played through the first Life is Strange. I did some of that on YouTube, and then it recorded it. You may recall.
Yeah, I was watching those, and then I saw.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were one of the person commenting about how bad the frames were on recording. I don't know why he was doing that, but
no, it was funny that you were saying like, "Oh, I'm muting the music because I don't want we get copyrighted."
I really enjoyed the Let's Plays, man. I mean, I don't think it was the most profitable thing or the most beneficial for me on YouTube. I've talked and you've heard on the podcast on the couple episodes you've watched that my opinion on Let's Plays are just kind of where it's at for me on YouTube. I'm not against watching people do Let's Plays. I just don't feel like Let's Plays.
Yeah, you just feel like
YouTube is where
like
I want to
the
go.
right platform. Yeah. I think I've heard one of those episodes you were talking about that. Like you said that I think it's better off like if you want to do gaming, you're better off like going to like Twitch, for example, or another platform.
And do you remember when I was playing like Assassin's Creed, the first one, and Pokemon Fire Red?
Oh yeah, I was looking through the Pokemon one, but I didn't see the Assassin's Creed one.
See, for me, like, what I want to do on Twitch is, like, okay, I stream the game, I do my thing, I interact with people, but at the same time, me occasionally singing along to a game or creating my own lyrics to what's happening in the game randomly and having fun with that. That's also something I really enjoy doing and something I want to bring to the Twitch platform when I'm playing the games there. And that's one reason I stopped doing the karaoke videos, because I didn't want to do it for a year and a half before I hopefully get moved somewhere, and suddenly, oh, you've heard me sing for a year and a half, and it's no longer anything special, and it's not really entertaining anymore. It's kind of burnt out on it, and that was one of the big reasons I stopped doing them. I just didn't want to burn it out.
Right. It's kind of like the same feel I had like when I was doing ASMR content. Like I think I did like a bit over 5 videos, and then I just stopped doing it. Yeah, I got kind of like burned out with it. Not like burned out, but like I've gotten like comments like that. Like my videos were like more like creepy than relaxing, and that wasn't like the direction I wanted to go with it. So that's why I just stopped doing it. I as much as I like ASMR, like I like being a fan of it. It's just like doing it myself is like another story.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely recall people on Discord giving you a hard time about that too, and I just feel like,
Yeah,
I
I
may
remember
not.
there was like a debate about like ASMR being porn or something like that.
I think it was a funny discussion
or something. Yeah.
For me, like, if I was ever involved in that conversation, it was purely for the funny part of that whole is ASMR porn, It wasn't really, oh, I disapprove of people that do ASMR content. I'm not gonna watch ASMR. It's not really my thing of enjoyment, but I think
Right. One of the
creators should
things.
be free to create what they want to create.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah, one of the things I was told is like, oh, if you don't want to be associated with like it, like if you're doing ASMR content, if you don't want to associate yourself as doing porn, like don't do ASMR. That's what I was told. I'm like, dang,
Yeah, you
that's
were
pretty
definitely
harsh.
told that by multiple people.
Yeah, I know. I've been told a similar thing about being vegan. I have like those long debates over there too about veganism and whatnot.
I mean, it just goes to, I feel like some people are definitely messing with you on that, and I don't think they're really that super serious
I
about it,
know, I
but
know, I know.
occasionally some people, it's just like, you just gotta let people do what people do. Like, not everyone's gonna live the same lifestyle, and if everyone did, it'd be boring,
Right. That's
People need to
understandable.
be
That's why I'm still
diverse.
there. Yeah, I respect people's
Yeah.
opinions. That's why I'm still there. I ain't leave there. I'm still there. I'm still helping out YouTubers.
You're one of the few people that are still around that's been there longer than me.
I could have sworn you were there before me. I could have sworn
No,
that.
you were definitely there first.
Oh, that's weird.
You're one of, like, not including Moriarty or Bolt, you're like one of maybe a few people. I know Doc was there before me. Boots to the Max maybe was there before me. Maybe. That I'm not 100% sure on that one. That I may have gotten there right before him, but there was still quite a few people that got there before me, but I was definitely one of the early on people.
But yeah, we definitely both of us have been there for quite a while, and it's nice to see YouTubers expanding and growing. Like the subreddit, it's a pretty big subreddit. A lot of people making posts every day. Sometimes somebody asking for feedback, and then we actually have another subreddit where people can request creator services, like if you want like to get graphics done or like for example, I posted something about voice acting, but I don't think anybody. I think I only had like one or two people reach out, but mostly like people can go there for graphics, like whether it's like a free service or like a paid service. But yeah, and then there's also like another subreddit where for creators that's over 5K subs or something. Like they would be considered creator, which I guess some people didn't agree with, like calling them creators because
That's a good debate.
like
That's a good debate. What do you feel is the better name, alumni or creators?
I think alumni for sure would be better than
Yeah, I
that because
definitely feel
we're
like
all
alumni
creators.
is the better name.
Yeah, disregarding our sub counts and our audience size, we're all creators here.
I do understand it from like a branding side of it. On one end, it's a better brand term to be like, oh, these are creators that are over 5K, I guess. But when it comes to
Yeah,
like
like they're creators,
subreddit,
but what does that make us? Yeah.
yeah, I think it works better for subreddit than it does on Discord. I feel like on Discord it should be alumni still. And that's what I would want it to be if I ever hit 5K subs. I definitely want alumni and not creators, but that
Yeah,
won't
I
be an
agree. I
option.
agree. Hmm.
That'd definitely be the path I'd want to go. Alumni just feels better to me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've grown to the point where you don't need to self promote on YouTubers to grow. You already have your own audience. That's why alumni kind of fits the name for creators over 5K subs.
Yeah, and I feel like going back to YouTube talk, a lot of YouTube talk in some of these episodes, but when it comes to like December, like the holiday season, like especially November or December are most people's low points. But like when it comes to my numbers for this month, when it comes to the second channel, I've completely, besides like sub gain and views and watch time, I've 100% passed every other specific month in watch time and views, and I am on the fast track to possibly getting the number one most watch time in any specific month this month. I'm not sure if I'll hit it, but I'm gonna come close.
That's pretty good, man.
My record is 2.2K, and As of yesterday, I am at 1.5. And considering this episode will go up on Sunday, and we'll see how that does, and then there'll be the episode the next Sunday, it's a debate. I might do it. I might not, but I might do it. It'll be very interesting to see if I can or not. And it ain't gonna hurt my feelings if I don't, but it'd be pretty freaking cool if I did.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you reach it, cool. If you don't, you can always reach it at a future date.
Yes, and it also helped. There's 5 episodes of the podcast this month. It's more or less just, there's 5 Sundays this month, and they don't specifically fall under Christmas or New Year, so I don't feel too bad about doing episodes on those days. Because I don't expect people to watch it immediately anyway. As I said earlier, podcasting is more of a long-term thing. Watch at your own pace,
Yeah, definitely. Like you always start out with like recording these podcast episodes, and then you're figuring out where you want to post the episodes. Like for me, I started on YouTube posting these episodes, and then you want to expand like on, let's say, like iTunes or the other platform you mentioned, or Spotify or anything of that sort. And then later on, you want to think, maybe you want to make a website for people to check out, or you can see the episodes. There's like all these other opportunities in different ways where podcasters, they can expand themselves, rather than just on YouTube, or more than just like posting on Twitter. Like when you have a new episode up, it's good to like expand your audience, through other platforms.
This is kind of off topic, but I'd like your opinion on something. It'd be interesting to see how you feel on this issue.
Yeah,
When
sure.
it comes to Christmas and me gifting people things, I obviously don't work. My money is saved up over various things, whether it's a chore or it's birthday gift money or what have you. And for me, like, I don't drive, and until a few days ago, I didn't have a bank account, so online shopping wasn't an option. And so it's like, is it wrong of me to not give anyone a gift specifically and not being like, let me spend someone else's money to get someone else a gift because I don't work or anything? I'm just not that kind of person to be like, I'd rather the gift mean something for me personally, and if that means not giving someone a gift until I'm at that stage of life where I can do that, I would rather do that than it be a not so genuine gift that someone assists me in purchasing.
Right. I mean, it's not wrong, because like if you're not like financially stable to give a gift to multiple people, that's totally understandable. Like you could go like as simple as like buying a Christmas card, from a dollar store or something, and then write something on there, like something meaningful, and then just send that to them over the mail, or just give it to them in person. I mean, that's as simple as that, because like I said earlier, like Christmas shouldn't be more like a materialistic holiday where like everybody has to give someone something. Something it doesn't have to be something expensive. It could be as simple as like a Christmas card, or just doing something special for someone, or just spending time with them. I feel like it should be more towards that, in my opinion.
100%, I completely agree with that. And, it's all about being meaningful and not obligation to get you a gift. So here you go.
Right, definitely. It's not an
Here's
obligation.
something.
Yeah, if you're able to do it, that's fine. If you can't, then that's understandable. Yeah, of
Yep.
course. I agree.
I'm glad you're on that side. It's a debate I've had. So I guess the honorary question I've asked every guest: will you be subscribing to Disney Plus when the Disney Plus streaming platform releases?
Wait, what? Disney's having their own platform for what? I'm sorry.
Disney is going to have their Netflix alternative in their form, and it's going to have things like Marvel shows. It's going to have some Star Wars shows, and I'm sure it's going to have a wide variety, but the main two they're promoting right now is Marvel and Star Wars. And for example, with Marvel, they're going to have a show with Loki in it, one with Scarlet Witch, one with Falcon. And it's just, I've had this conversation of, do we want to support Disney Plus and what they're trying to do when it's unnecessary? Eventually, if everyone has their own streaming service to watch that person's shows, whether it be Disney, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, etc., 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 eventually we're just back to cable, except it's more expensive. So for you personally, do you think Disney Plus and what they offer is worth it to you?
I mean, like, how much are they charging for their service?
Unknown. It's an unknown number at this point.
Oh, okay. So it's not known how much their subscription would be. Oh, okay,
How
all right.
much would that matter? What would the price be to persuade you to get Disney Plus, and what would be too much?
Oh no, I was just curious if that was like announced, but like disregarding like the cost for Disney Plus, I personally wouldn't subscribe to them and watch all those wherever they have to offer. I'll just pretty much stay on Netflix. Even though it's been a while since I've been on Netflix, actually. Reason why I have Netflix because of my phone carrier offers it, it comes with it, you know. Like
Oh, that's
T-Mobile
pretty cool.
T-Mobile comes with free Netflix, but I don't know how much longer it's gonna be like that. But I'm just watching Netflix as much as I can before.
Did you hear about the T-Mobile controversy the past week or so?
No, I have not.
Apparently, they've been busted about lying about where their 4G data actually serves at, and that they'll say it does somewhere, but it actually doesn't, and they've proven that because they don't have the 4G cell data things in that area specifically, and they got busted on that apparently recently.
Yeah, I don't really know much about that to give an opinion on that, to be honest.
I feel like wherever it doesn't actually offer, it doesn't appear to be affecting you, and I don't know anyone is personally affected, so hopefully it's just a small amount of people. But I'm pretty sure if we actually boiled down and put everyone under a microscope, I doubt everyone's 100% accurate on those maps and what they actually cover.
Yeah, I feel like companies gotta be more honest with what they're offering. Otherwise, it just looks kind of scummy.
And I definitely feel like I've heard that 5G is coming, but they haven't even perfected 4G across all of America. So why would we already be at 5G? Shouldn't the priority be to have consistent high-speed 4G all across the country before we even consider 5G?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they should work on improving what they already have rather than trying to create something new. Like, yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, instead of like, oh, trying to make the iPhone X and then the iPhone, I don't know, the next iPhone after that, the XI or the XII or whatever, then they should try to focus on improving what they already have. You know, or same thing with like the Samsung Galaxy. They're like S7, S8. I don't know what's coming up after that, but you gotta like improve with what you already have before you try to create something new.
And especially if you're going back to gaming, like Assassin's Creed for the longest time was getting that critique of, oh, they're just obligated to release a game a year, and it's not really improving on it, and it's just getting repetitive and all that. As far as I know, recently they've stopped doing yearly, and it's improved the reception of the games a lot more. But especially for that big range of like what 6, 7, 8 years, probably more like 6 or 7, they were just getting nailed with it. Like after Assassin's Creed 2, and you had Brotherhood Revelation 3, Black Flag, etc. that was definitely the point if they got pounded by people, because to them it just felt repetitive and not so much like they were putting constant improvement into the product before moving on with the next one.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean there. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I definitely feel like we should have good 4G, and just internet in general. Like we need to have more than one ISP in an area all across the country.
Or just give everybody like the fiber thing, because
Yeah, or
apparently,
just give
yeah,
everyone high speed internet.
apparently I don't have fiber or whatever in my area for some odd reason. I don't know, but yeah, like you said with games, they should always like look like to improve what they already have before they try to go to like the next game or something. Because the same thing's happening with or Stardew Valley, because it seems like like there's really nothing else you can add to Stardew Valley. So the next thing would be like to improve like on stuff that's already there. Maybe like some of the mods that are there in Stardew Valley, maybe that could be actually implemented to the game or something like of that sort. There's like a lot of ways to improve Stardew Valley. In my opinion, it's a pretty fun game. You could do as much as you want in there.
So when it comes to a game like Stardew Valley, I really appreciate when you have a game that has a mod community. If the developers can look at the popular mods, whether it be a Bethesda game or an Obsidian game or what have you, that has a big mod community, and be like, oh, this is what people really enjoy adding to our game. Maybe we should consider adding it to the game officially instead of you having to mod it in. That way, you show your player base that you care about how they feel about your game and you want to improve it to what they personally like.
Right. It's good for games to have a community that they care about improving the game as well. Like rather when it comes to making mods or like reporting bugs, you know, yeah, because a good game also comes with a good community. Because sometimes a community makes the game good as well.
100%. You want a good community. You don't want a community that is toxic and hateful and discourages people from playing the game.
Right, that's part of why like I stopped playing League of Legends back in like 2015 or something, and now I'm seeing advertisements on YouTube. Go play League of Legends. No, thank you.
And I know, like, it isn't a multiplayer game, but like Undertale apparently had that toxic fan base of if you didn't do things a certain way, people would crap on you for it.
I don't think anybody like crapped on me for playing the true pacifist run.
I'm still really angry about that, by the way.
I know Moriarty was too.
I
'Cause
wanted to
he's
do
like,
the
why?
pacifist run.
He's like, why aren't you doing the genocide run? I'm like, because I don't want to. It's not me. It's not very moral of me.
Yeah, like, for you, it made perfect sense to do the pacifist run, and I wanted to do the pacifist run too, but
I mean, I
apparently
did that for Fallout 1 as well. I did that. A pacifist run for that.
you did. I think that was pretty impressive, If you have
Yeah.
the ability to go through a pacifist run in a game, I feel like not many people do that. So if someone like yourself does that, I definitely think it makes you stand out a bit.
Yeah, in a way, yeah, I'd say so. I really want to try out Deltarune, but I just never made the time to get into it. Yeah, I have like another game that I want to finish on Mixer first before I get into that. A game or two I want to finish.
I know I've seen what Deltarune is, but can you refresh my memory on Deltarune?
I just know a bit based on the video that Crimeboard Gaming made about called "What is Deltarune." That's pretty much all I know about it because I don't really want to watch too much of it because spoilers and whatnot. But supposedly, yeah, it's like revolving around the Undertale world. The Deltarune's an anagram for Undertale. So
Oh, it's the Undertale prequel or sequel or whatever Undertale related game.
I don't know if that's like a sequel or something, but I just know it's like an anagram for it.
Yeah, it seemed like it was somewhat connected, at least, in some way, or at least that's what the fan base is making it seem like they're similar, or they're connected in a way.
Yeah, one way to find out for me is to actually play it. Sometime in 2019, maybe in a couple of months or so, maybe I'll get into it.
So, I feel like even with the technical difficulties we've had, I've enjoyed our time here. I feel like we've done well. Hopefully, when it's all said and done, everything works out perfectly. The lesson I'm learning, that way people listen and know I'm learning my lesson. Last episode, I took a nap, I went to sleep. So I saved my Audacity file and then I came back and the Audacity file didn't work. I'm not doing that this week. I'm going to immediately edit it and save it as something else and not have it stay in Audacity any longer than it has to. I still don't know what happened last week. I don't understand why the Blue Yeti recording did not work.
Oh, you're referring to the one that you did with me, Autastic?
Yes. And it was just like,
I don't know. I haven't gave it a listen yet. I think the next one I gotta listen to. The last one I listened to was the one with Ragnarok plays. I think the next one after that one is with Raymondo, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like, of course. So feel free to tell people where they can find you.
Sure. Yeah, you can mostly find me on Twitter at MoralTruthy. I have my own YouTube channel where I also host my own podcast. Most podcasts you could do youtube.com/moraltruth. I'm also on Mixer at mixer.com/moraltruth. There's no spaces on YouTube and on Mixer. You can find me streaming variety of games there on Mixer. Chances are you might not know what Mixer is, whoever's listening, or you haven't made an account Mixer or anything like that. But definitely consider checking out Mixer. It's a pretty nice community, I'd say personally, compared to like the Twitch community. But yeah, other than that, I also have my own website for my podcast, moralspodcast.weebly.com. You can find all my episodes there. You can also see other podcasts that I'm guessing on. Like the next post on my website will be regarding this episode of Best Says. Like I'll post it on my website as well. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm mostly on Twitter at MoralTruthy, as well as on Instagram, moral underscore truth, where I post like vegan food and all that stuff. I know that's a lot, but I'm sure everything will be on in this description.
They were absolutely everything that you have said will be in the description down below. I'll make sure all of that is well acquainted for. And hopefully if you enjoyed this, you do share it out so we can hopefully make it as successful as possible. And hopefully people enjoyed this episode and leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us how you feel about the episode. How do you feel? How do you think Christmas is going to go for you? Hopefully Christmas goes well for everyone. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, hopefully if you celebrate any kind of holiday and its place, you enjoy it. If not, hopefully it's just a good day in general. I think that is it for us. Hopefully this podcast was a decent enough length. Hopefully it wasn't too long or too short. We are out.
Bye bye.